Alright everyone, we're back, and this is the third installment of my games with none other than MysticMonarch, and all I have to say is the farm is on. We'll see if I can continue my hot streak. Here he's going to be playing generic. We're going to get some generic versus generic matchups, and I'm dialed in, trying to grind to, I'm probably at about 1850 at this point, maybe 1800. Seeing if I can close in on 1.9, and yeah, it's quite a grind. There's not a lot of players in my rating bracket to play, and so what that means is I'm risking 30 rating loss for 10 or 9 gain. And so for every 3 games that I win, if I lose one, I cancel out my rating gains. So that is very unfortunate. So we're starting off with generic versus generic, and we exchange some trees, some portals, and the pebbling is just to get some sort of mid-map space so that when the opponent auras, then you're able to run out of it and keep your prod advantage. So Exhibit A here, I aura, he can go into the area that he pebbled, and it's also covered with a lot of land, so he is protected from Ray, which is great. And here, I'm also protected from Ray because of that fortunate tree spawn. And I go for this portal, trying to make sure he doesn't tree it off, but he's still able to squeeze that in. I might be able to fit. We'll see. I don't know why the camera didn't pan there. The camera is a little bit funky on this game sometimes, especially with portal. The player isn't followed through the portal with the camera. That was kind of a convoluted way to explain it, but basically, when I go through a portal, the camera doesn't follow me. So, a little irritating. Here, I'm pressuring a bit. I'm inside the portal. I can pebble down and threaten some big damage. So he decides to teleport to the opposite side, which we've seen over the last several games in this series, to try and stall the best he can. And now I'm in a solid spot, up 40 prot, and I'm setting up a tree to prevent Ray. Yeah, he gets me with the mech arrow, but I'm pretty sure my prot is back up, and that is kind of a very difficult spot that you're in if when you mech or when you Ray, your opponent already has prot back up. That means that you're very behind in tempo, and it's going to be difficult for you to come back. I get a nice pebble there. He also falls into that second aura, and he is going to hit me with the Ray there and deflight, because I was at, I believe, 35, but he actually goes back through the portal, and I drain him off. The play there probably would have been to stay in the middle, not sit in the portal there, so that he couldn't get sunk. Now I'm looking to press. I don't quite have enough time to hit anything insane, so I just tower down. And okay, does he have a possibility for a double drain here is what I'm thinking. No. So I can stay close to the tree. I'm fine. And I'm seeing a line where maybe I flash down right and then press him further. But I know that I'm not protected from Ray here, so I decide to go into a spot where I'm also not protected from Ray. If any of you see that, where I'm at right now, I can be rayed like this. It's not going to do maybe a full 50, but that will hit. But he's down quite a lot, so he may not have time to hit that, and he doesn't, so I tree it off, and I get portaled, and as we see there, it doesn't follow me. A little annoying. I don't know if there's maybe an option in the camera settings. There is a camera follow option, but I'm pretty sure I have that ticked. It's a little bit funky with portal, as I mentioned. So he auras. I don't really have much space, so I decide to teleport. And we're back in a little bit of a stalemate at this point here. That aura is okay. I guess he's not able to go back through the portal if he exits the aura, because he's going to get ticked. Although, no, he can go through. So he can go through and not get ticked. So I aura the portal myself. He does a couple of flashes, probably not the most efficient, but not terrible. I go for a mech here, a little bit risky, but very nice play. And he ends up on the right side of the map. That ended up turning out very fortunate for me, because if I miss that, then he hits me with a ray, or potentially like a mech of his own. He gets my prots down very far, so clutch play there. And now a little bit awkward, trying to go all the way under, and I missed the ray. I had no time. My idea with the ray was that maybe I could get a lucky pebble and detower him the following turn, or sink him. But generally, you don't want to do what I just did, which is ray a tower with no prots. It's just not efficient at all. You want to save your ray for if you're up a ton, then you can use it whenever. Look at that double portal play. I caught him with his pants down there and went through 2 portals to basically teleport on his ass and close out the game. Hopefully. We'll see. We'll see. You never know. Generic is great at stalling. So, I was thinking too, I'm pushing him in the middle, but then I could just go back through the portal and pebble him. So I went so far to the middle just to go back to the portal and hit him. So not really necessary for me. He goes for the portal, but I can still just go through here and hit him with the clock, and it kills 90 clock. Let's go. Potentially 100 actually. So nice play with that mech arrow mid-game to apply some pressure, and he ended up on the right side of the map, not where he wanted to be. And then of course I missed that ray, but I'm able to close it out with that double portal tech, and that can be kind of tough to see in 7 seconds. If you don't see that with a couple of turns in advance, then you're not able to prep for it defensively or execute the move offensively. Well, let's get on to the next game. See you in just a second. All right, we're here in the next game, and once again, generic versus generic battle, and you'll see him actually closing the gap in mid-map this time. Generally, I like to flash out of this tree. It's a little tricky against certain players. I don't like to gate out of this, like left or right, because certain players are so fast that like I gate out of this, they just flight prot and they close the gap, and then they mech arrow the following turn. If they have swarm, it might be okay. If they have mech arrow, that's a lot of pressure, because you gate out and then you get mech arrowed, you lose your prots, and then they pebble down the following turn after you tower. Not looking good. So I don't generally like to flash to teleport down to the left or right if they're able to close that gap so quickly. And this is a map gen where I think he would be able to close that gap fast. So he auras the other side of the portal to deny me going through it. And here maybe tower's okay. Okay, I go for a tree, and he misses the grab. I don't know if he makes the grab. I guess I'm not able to pebble him. So that's another theme of this series, is missed portal grabs. But you'll see I don't really attempt them much, just because I know that I'd probably miss. So props to him for attempting them. I'm just not the best sometimes in 7 seconds, but not to say that I can't hit him, but I just choose to play a little bit more conservatively there. So here he has an option to hit me with some good damage. I was in an awkward position there. Maybe teleporting to the right side would have been okay, provided he doesn't get some sort of clock at a downward angle through the red portal, hitting me, sinking me into the water or something insane. So now I'm down quite a huge amount. Like what happened in this game? I blundered with the portal play, and really wasn't able to maintain equality here. So now I have to be super passive, just tree off everything, and yeah, prod up. Does he Q there? What exactly happened? I'm not sure. A little bit confusing, but is he gonna prot here? And then I just, oh, what? What is that? What is that bounce? A bounce mega? I'm only supposed to hit those. Me and Slim Bill only hit those. Fucking MysticMonarch out there just hitting me with the bounce mega boulder. Jesus. I don't know why he doesn't just like jump through the portal, clock me, or let's say like, okay, 7 seconds, boom. Yeah, he gets ticked with the aura, but I'm at 61 to 205. Why would he drain there? So he just missed out on an aggro opportunity to just close the game there. Because I blundered early with the portals and I went back through in this green portal here, rayable and also even megaable, but it's a little tricky to fit that, and that could fail. But yeah, take a look again at that bounce mega. That was nasty. So I'm on the ropes here. As I said, he had a win, potentially, but he chose to drain. So I'm able to stay in the game just a little bit longer. I gotta get a portal set up to run away because I have my tail between my legs here. And he goes for he goes for the clock and then he clocks into my portal. He just needed to have a little bit more conviction, go through the portal sooner, and then get on my right side and he wouldn't have hit it. Then I get a perfect mega to equalize the game, and it's heating up. We're heating up. Now he treed off my portal so I can safely teleport to the right side and make some space, and okay. Whew, we can breathe. We can breathe, folks. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna build my prots, and he can't get to me through that portal just yet. So we're okay now. We can breathe. Just take a moment. Collect ourselves. He stays in the aura, which is probably not ideal. He could have gone down there. And look at that clock! And he's in the portal! He's in the portal and he goes back through and he sinks! This is an insane move! I got so lucky there because I just moved ever so slightly because a cog hit me. We need an instant replay on that. Holy shit. That was insane. Again, I think Pure, also if you're watching, sometimes look at these numbers. They need to flash red when their turn has been passed, but it glitches, and so when you move your mouse, it just flashes red. But I'm going to hopefully go back to the right turn and see this instant replay. Okay, I was just one turn too soon, but let's look at that again. A very ballsy play by me too, not one that I needed to do. So I could go through the portal and just mudding is fine here. Or if I have tree available, which as I'm saying that, I'm not 100% sure if I do or not. It might be on cooldown. But look at that. Did you see that cog hit me? Just slightly to the left, and so that he falls on me. If that cog doesn't hit me, I think he falls next to me and doesn't go in the portal. But, like I said, much safer move would have been to just mudball. And I think I'm in a decent position there. Up. And he's trapped. But instead, I go for this absolutely ballsy move, and he ends up just ever so slightly in the portal, out of flight, goes back into it on the following turn, gets ticked by the aura, sinks. That is one of the nastiest plays I've had in a long time. So sick. And it puts me in a position where I was totally behind. He had this sick bounce mega boulder that he made. And I was down from the get-go after that. And I'm able to storm back. Here I'd tick myself with the aura because I felt bad after hitting that on him. I said, yeah, I'll, let you come back a little bit. No, I don't know what I was doing. I just blundered there with the movement. Maybe didn't see it. I was too high on adrenaline after that sick play. Probably like uploading the clip to Discord as I'm in the 7 Grassy game. And so now I'm looking pretty good. I'm up 100 health. I'm up 50 prot. No, that's 45 prot Coeval. Yeah, it is. Okay, whatever. Tick him with the aura. He's going to run away prot. Aura's probably not the best move there. Although I think I used my tree to block his portal. Tree would have been fine there if I had it, but I didn't. And now, yeah, I guess I'm just gonna kind of slow burn this and say that, okay, even if he gets some prots, I'm still up a good amount of health. I do want to be careful though. At a certain point, once you're past like 100 prot or so, you can be at 5 health and you can clutch a draw. Doesn't matter, because you're not actually at 5 health. You're actually at 105, right? So, go through the portal, get a nice mech arrow, not quite on target. That might clinch the victory here. Can I close the gap and pebble down? Quick tip as well, if you pebble down at an angle, then they're not able to mud you from that hole. It's very difficult or impossible. So that way you can continue to push. And you see that there, he's not able to mud me in response. And I can just do the same thing, but from a different angle. And unfortunately that pebble was terrible. But, you know, pebble is very unpredictable. And as you can see there, put him into a difficult position. He's actually rayable there, which is huge for me. And at this point, I just spam Peb. Just Peb all day. Joker might not be watching this, but we have a running joke that I was playing a game once and he just spammed me with Peb. And I just basically spent 5 turns in a row pebbling down at my opponent and ended up somehow winning that game. It was funny. But I just see him in my DMs, just Peb. So here he auras me, doesn't have too many options at this point as far as stalling goes. And yeah, he just teleports into his own aura and seeds victory. So very nice game here, and looks like I think we have one more game that I want to show you, which will close out this Mystic Monarch series. Also, I haven't mentioned this yet, guys, but he's a bit of a meme in the lobby chat. He's always telling me, like, ready to get dominated, Coeval? And so it was funny to be playing him over the last few weeks. And so when he says ready to get dominated, and then I just 3-0 him, and I'm like, you just got dominated, bro. You just got crushed. All right. Setting up the portal early, going side as usual. He auras the portal off, which is a fine play. Closing with Mech Arrow here is a bit tricky. He's just going to play slow. Maybe going in that little cove there on the right, and protection shielding would have been better than Spirit, but Spirit's generally okay. Nice Mech Arrow there for him. I said that he couldn't do it, but he did it. So, well played. There, I mean, he's still in Ray range, but generally you don't want to Ray or Aura if they haven't protection shielded yet. But in this case, I know that he can only really flash down, and he is vulnerable to Ray. So it's not the worst move to burn an Aura on someone who's not protection shielded. I just didn't really see a line where he's able to get protection shield back soon. Not get it back, but use it where it's safe to use. If he just protection shields there, I just, you know, Ray him, or he takes an Aura tick. He doesn't have enough space yet for that to be beneficial or efficient, however you want to call it. So we're in a little bit of a back and forth. I have to be careful about that portal. You'll notice once that spirit dies, you have to be careful about your opponent going through that portal and then taking control of it, clocking you, and then, you know, teleporting back to the other portal, and then the following turn going back through, clocking you again. Yeah, they can be very aggro with the portals. So he goes for a Mega Boulder. It does okay damage, not great. And he's going to go through here and Mudball me. Oh, he almost missed that. That would have been great for me. But he doesn't. And I think it's okay. I'm slightly ahead, but that was a nice play by him. I think actually I'm fine because I can go back through the portal. And now I have control of the portals and he doesn't. And you'll notice another subtle thing too. I'm just kind of dropping a bunch of tips for 7G as we're playing these. Treasure trove of tips. I'm far away from the portal so that when he auras, he's not able to cover it. Unfortunately, he is able to cover the red portal, but not the green one, but I still can't get over there. So, wasn't the most ideal, but that was my idea, was I want to get far away from the portal so that when he auras, it's not covering the portal itself. So, I think I can I could have gone through my portal there and maybe pebbled. I'm protected from Ray, but then maybe he will just throw a clock and hit me. So I had to run away, and now he has portal control and also a spirit. I'll probably want to kill that soon and just deter his offense by putting that spirit in there. And then I just didn't have quite enough time. That's tough when you're trying to micro in 7 seconds, not 10 seconds, 7 seconds. It's just pretty ridiculous. So luckily I'm able to get out of that aura, and the spirit is still in the portal, so he's not able to close the gap there. Man, I really use close the gap a lot. Let me know in the comments if you have any other phrases that are similar to close the gap that I should start using. I need to expand my vocabulary, which is funny because I'm an English major. But, you know, we all have our struggles, our own personal struggles. And here I'm able to protect myself from Ray, get an aura tick. I could have probably ticked the portal as well, but then I hurt my spirit. So I decided to just keep the spirit there. He's not really dealing with it, which doesn't allow him to escape in a situation like this. If the spirit was dead, he could go through the portal and he'd be fine. But instead, he has to teleport away. And yeah, let me know also in the comments if you have any ideas. What could I have done here? I pull out my spirit and I'm rayable. It's a tricky situation when he teleports there, and if I stay in the portal, I go back right in his face the following turn and he just mudballs me. Maybe I have to just teleport back mid-map, might be my play, if I have it. I think I have it off cooldown. So that would probably be what I would do. What would you do in that situation? He teleports, and the turn that I summon Spirit, let me know in the comments. Also, if you've enjoyed these 7G series and this Road to 2K series, please drop a like and subscribe. It really helps me with the YouTube algorithm. We're on the road to 1K. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so we're now locked again at a little bit of a stalemate. You're thinking about just cooldown rotations, basically prod on cooldown, aura on cooldown, tree to block portals, or tree to restrict movement in a way that keeps your opponent in auras. You also want to be mindful of, if you use tree, then your opponent portals after it, you don't have much to block the portal with. So I try to go through it, doesn't quite work, and then I flash up there. And also you notice I took some damage from the aura. Basically why that is because of aura stacking. The tree acts like a live minion. It's technically alive, quote unquote. And so if you tree on top of a player, it's as if I'm getting stacked for some aura damage, so I get ticked for 15. Why it's not 30, I'm not sure, because typically stacking, the way it would work is you get hit for 30. Although, no, sometimes it is 30, and sometimes it's not. And because I have short-term memory, I don't really, but you know, I'm forgetting if I got ticked for 30 there or 15. But you can always let me know in the comments, correct me if I'm wrong. So he's going to go through the portal, and now we've got double portals going. Here I'm thinking, okay, it's worth it to get his prot down with Mech Arrow and stay in the portal. And now we're in another situation where it's again awkward, because if I stay in the portal, then he goes through and he muds me or clocks me or something. And if I don't, then I'm out in the open and I get raid. So do I close the gap, go toward the center, or do I teleport to a safe spot and then just set up again? Teleport is probably the safest play, as I mentioned a few turns ago. But here, okay, I decide I'm just going to pebble down and deflight him because I'm so close. So that's probably the best play. Although he had flight again, and unfortunately he mudballs. What happens there is basically, like, maybe I can show after the game. I'll show after the game, but it has to do with the transparent spell bar. You're like getting ready to throw a spell, and you click it before, and then you just double click it out of panic or anxiety. Your adrenaline is high, and then you just double click, but you haven't moved your cursor to where it needed to be. And then as a result, you throw the game. So let's see if I can show that tactic, but that closes out the games for this video. Let's just go in here and see if I can demonstrate that, or at least try to explain. Basically, you can see as I'm moving, you can still click, like, I can click before I've stopped moving and the spell shows up. So maybe like you got 2 seconds left and you're trying to, like maybe I'm trying to mud JT here, 3, 2, 1, and then I just like panic and double click. And so that's kind of what can happen. If you just don't quite have enough time or poise to execute that in 7 seconds, then you're not able to get your cursor to where you want to be and click the spell in time. I will say though, it hasn't been an issue since the transparent spell bar has been a thing. I think it's because, like as I said, you can like click the spell while you're moving. Like for example, I can do this with prot and like click it, and maybe that's right after I move. I'm not exactly sure. And sometimes the server delay can kind of mess with it a bit. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know in the comments if you've had a issue with that sort of double click type of blunder outside of low times, or if you play low times yourself. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this series with MysticMonarch, and I will see you all in the next video. Have a great day. Peace out.